SmackDown was in Newark, New Jersey last night, and this show had to follow a very emotional Monday Night Raw, one of the saddest editions in the history of Raw, with just a heartbreaking way to start the show, with Roman Reigns announcing he's been diagnosed with leukemia. Because of that, he relinquished the title, and he announced that he suffered from leukemia 8 years ago, I believe, and he beat it once, but it's returned. Which, anything you know about cancer, when cancer is recurring, that is so scary. If you beat it the first time, and then it comes back years later, it's usually far more aggressive, and that's just so sad. Hopefully he can survive this and beat this. He has a long road ahead of him. And not just, who cares about his wrestling career? It's just the guy as a person, Joe as a person. I mean, he's got a wife, and he has a daughter, and he recently had two twins, I think last year. So he has 3 kids at home with the family and the wife, and just awful news. So Raw was just kind of a blur, and then everyone's complaining about the ending of the show with Ambrose and Rollins. I'll give you my quick thoughts on it. I was not a fan of it when it happened, but it is WWE does this stuff all the time. I don't know. I understand wanting to get as big of an impact, but it was just not right, man. You could have just done it 2 weeks later. They were always going to go in this direction, but just to do it because of Roman announcing, his cancer, and just I don't know. It's just so cheap, but it is what it is. So SmackDown is also not just following that Raw, it's the go-home show to Evolution, which is this Sunday. And, if you've been watching WWE programming, you'd barely even know there is a pay-per-view this Sunday. It's the first ever women's pay-per-view. I would think WWE, when they first announced this back in July, I thought they would spend the whole month of October, it'd be Raw and SmackDown. The woman would be on 70% of the show. It would be all of them building up all the feuds with the legends and setting up all these big matches, and it has been anything but that. It's because the Saudi Arabia story has completely overshadowed it. Crown Jewel has been a far more important show to WWE than Evolution. They're promoting Crown Jewel far harder than Evolution. You can tell where their priorities are. Evolution is just a throwaway show. They're promoting Crown Jewel like it's a major show. And by the way, after Crown Jewel, a couple weeks, it's the Survivor Series, and no promotion for the Survivor Series. And they just had a show in Australia. It's like Crown Jewel is their big show. They don't even care about Evolution. So Evolution is a throwaway show. The card sucks. I don't care for the card. I don't know how it's going to be 4 hours, so some of those matches are going to have to drag out. My expectations are very low. So talk about SmackDown. The New Day start off in the Big Show. I'm just going to skip that. I don't care. I don't need to see Big Show heel anymore. I'm just going to go quick. And, ends in no contest. So they show, again, they mentioned the Reigns thing on with the announcers. They did it similar to Raw. So next was a rematch from last week, SmackDown 1000. It's hard to believe SmackDown 1000 was last week. So much stuff is going on in WWE. It's like they just had the Australia Super Showdown, and then all the Saudi Arabia news comes out, and then the Roman news last night. Now they have Evolution, which is a completely throwaway show, and then you have the Crown Jewel show, and then a couple weeks later you have Survivor Series, and they had SmackDown 1000 last week. It's just been just have too much stuff going on to really build to anything. Anyway, a rematch from last week. So last week, the Usos pinned Daniel Bryan after a super kick. Here, it's the exact same finish, except it's reversed. Instead of Daniel Bryan accidentally hitting AJ Styles, AJ accidentally hits Daniel Bryan. Usos hit the super kicks, and then they used the Superman punch from Roman Reigns actually and get the victory. One thing you didn't like is how the announcers were using Roman's illness to build up the Usos. I understand doing it as a tribute, but at the same time, look, it's cheap. I mean, they did that heavily with Eddie Guerrero when he passed away. They had, Rey won the title because of Eddie passing away. We all know that. But at the same time, to just keep using that, I just feel like you're just using a real situation, a guy announcing his leukemia, just doing it to build up your own guys. It is what it is. WWE's been doing this for years, but I don't know. So they have, again, Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles are mad. They show a video package for Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella. Funny, it's on SmackDown. They show a Raw thing. Did they show Charlotte and Becky video package on Raw? No. Okay. They show Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles in the back, and they've done a horrible job building this feud up. I mean, there's some rumors that Daniel Bryan and John Cena are refusing to go to Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel. I haven't heard that. There's some stuff with John Cena for sure. I haven't heard anything about Daniel Bryan, so I'm going to say it's probably not true. They show him in the back, and they're doing the Pinocchio thing. This is such a waste. AJ and Daniel Bryan. Really, this is the best we're going to do for these two guys. Such a great feud. It's just been a complete waste. Yeah, it's Charlotte and Becky is their top pro, and because Charlotte's their top woman, Charlotte's going to be their female Roman. She's going to be the girl or the woman. She is the top star, and she's a bigger. They treat her like a bigger star than AJ Styles on the show, who's the WWE champion. So that's what they're going with. AJ Styles Daniel Bryan feud's been absolute shit. Such a disappointment. They go to the Performance Center to show Charlotte talking to all the women, and it's so weird. It's like she's talking to all the women. They all look so excited. They showed a lot of them. Rhea Ripley from the UK champion, she was there. They showed Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir. All three of the four horsewomen were at the Performance Center. I forgot the other two were wrestling. Baszler's obviously one of the top stars in NXT, but the other two are wrestling. They showed Bianca Belair with this cold look on her face. It was very strange. I don't know. And they show all the other ones just kind of laughing. It was just awful how it was done. And Becky comes out, and then Charlotte says, who are you? Who are you? And Becky and Charlotte brawl in the Performance Center. They have a huge fight. They break it up. It's just awful. Like Charlotte yelling, who are you? Charlotte looked horrible here. And Becky looked cool. Charlotte looks like a complete, uptight heel. Charlotte's like this cool, or Charlotte's like the uptight, loser, goody two-shoe baby. So Becky's just coming off as this anti-hero. She's just great. The fans are going to boo the hell out of Charlotte when she wins the title at Evolution. They show Charlotte talking about this, and she's saying you've disrespected the Performance Center. You've this is where we all work came in together. I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, there's a fucking murder mystery in NXT right now. Someone almost murdered Aleister Black at the Performance Center. Jesus Christ. If you even watch NXT, that Charlotte promo sucked. So they have Aiden English coming out. He's mocking Rusev. Rusev comes out, and it's an ass kicking. Rusev destroys Aiden English. It looks like this feud's done, and it should be. Aiden English is a joke. Rusev and Lana celebrate. All that stuff they did with Milwaukee and stuff. Quick squash match. Rusev, him and Lana celebrate, and it looks like that's it. So Miz TV is next. Rey Mysterio is his guest. Rey says he's happy to be back. Rey is interested as a future Hall of Famer, which he will be. I didn't like the promo. I'm kind of bored seeing Miz. It's every single time it's the same thing with Miz. He rips into Rey. Rey eventually beats him down. He hits him with the Insiguri, hits him with the 619. So they eventually have a match, Rey Mysterio and The Miz. They have a decent match. Rey Mysterio is very interesting how they're going to use him because he's an injury-prone guy. We all know that. Rey eventually gets the win. So that was very long. This show's been dragged. It's like the two main programs were the AJ and Daniel Bryan, and the bigger one, Charlotte and Beck. It's like after that, everything else just feels secondary. So the next match is Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville against Naomi and Asuka. I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, Mandy Rose is the best looking woman in the history of the company. She is insane. Holy fuck, wearing that black leather. Jesus Christ, Mandy Rose is sexy. I mean, how the hell is Sonya Deville able to contain herself? She's a lesbian in real life. How the fuck is she able to just be Mandy Rose's friend? It's like, imagine being friends with the sexiest chick and just being her friend, and she and those two are really best friends and they're roommates. I mean, if that's a guy, I give Mandy or Sonya Deville some credit here. If that's a guy, there's no way. If you living with somebody who looks like Mandy Rose, you can just contain yourself. And come on, there has to be something there. So Billie Kay, Peyton Royce come out, and they before the match starts, and Lana comes out, and Carmella comes out, and then Zelina Vega comes out too, and it's all the women, Asuka, and Naomi. It's a huge brawl. It just turns into a major battle royal to set up the match. We got all of them on the show. At least they did something. The Raw stuff sucks, but there's something here. The build-up has sucked. They run through the card for Evolution. Again, very underwhelming. Shane McMahon comes out. Here's what happens. Okay, so he's talking about the Crown Jewel World Cup, and the fans chant CM Punk. Yes, the fans actually chanted CM Punk. And then Shane says, well, I don't think he'll be there because it's the best in the world. I don't know. This promo sucked. Anyway, main events, Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton in a regular singles match. Yeah, like didn't they just have a Hell in a Cell match a month ago? I guess that's just completely irrelevant now. Randy Orton gets the victory, and that's SmackDown. So yeah, that's the show. A very forgettable show.